There is a huge mistake that Uber and Lyft drivers are making while doing their taxes, and I want to talk about it. So most people that do Uber and Lyft are more than likely doing this as like a part-time thing. Sometimes they're probably doing it on the weekends or in the evenings just to make a little bit of extra money. And guess what? There is nothing wrong with that. Very first thing that always comes up when talking to an Uber and Lyft driver who's been doing this part-time is the fact that their taxes are going to cost a little bit more because now, not only do they have their W-2 income, but they are technically self-employed as well. So you need to do a completely different schedule and you've got to record their income. And now you also have to record their expenses. So yes, their taxes are going to cost them more money. Now, the next thing that really shocks them is something called self-employment tax. And almost nobody that I talk to that's just starting out doing this knows what self-employment tax is. And they're like, what the heck is that? Why do I have to pay it? And that's a whole nother conversation. And that's a whole nother shock in itself. But the third shock is maybe one of the hardest to deal with because this is where it truly can hurt someone on their tax return. So essentially, to sum it up, basically, if you have a part-time job or a job that's maybe not making that much money, but because of that, you've always gotten these massive credits at the end of the year because you have children and now you get the earned income credit. You pile all those credits together and you're going to get a pretty substantial refund. But the second you go drive for Uber and Lyft and you start taking those vehicle expenses, and like I said, sometimes I've seen it reduce people's income down to zero, you are no longer able to take those credits. Now, you did go and make some extra money on Uber and Lyft, but most of the time it's never really worth what you're actually going to be losing in terms of credits and things like that. So anyways, that is the caveat to Uber and Lyft drivers when it comes to doing their taxes. So if you are in that position, make sure you ask someone or you just fully understand what you're actually doing when it comes to tax time.